And now on Tucson Business Radio, let's find out how to be healthy, wealthy, and wise with your host, Karen Fisher.
Well, good afternoon, and this is greetings not from sunny Tucson, but actually from rainy Tucson. We are so very grateful. I am Karen M. Fisher, your hostess of the today's radio show, which is Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise, and we are broadcasting remotely from Tucson, if you will, and this is Tucson Business RadioX. I have a very special and amazing guest with me by the name of Judy Katz Esbit. Hi, Judy.
Hi, Karen. Thank you so much for letting me be with you today.
I am super excited because you've got a very, very important and wonderful service that our whole community needs to know about. So, well, first, let's just jump right into it. So first and foremost, let me give you just a little bit of a background about Judy. Judy is actually, she's here right within Tucson, and she is with a company called Caption Call. And through the show, we're going to explain exactly what Caption Call is, who could benefit from the service, and how do they find out about the service, like what are the rules and things like that. And it's on a personal basis. She can't tell you about the patients, but I absolutely can. My father-in-law happens to have a very profound hearing loss, and during COVID, one of the challenges that we've had is that we have not been able, like most people, have not been able to visit. And so not being able to visit in person and being relegated to speaking just over the phone, it's created a lot of frustration because he cannot hear or understand us. And so just a little bit of background about Judy. Your bio reads like a who's who, and we'll have some information out there. But you came to Tucson in 1984 to train and travel with one of our favorite groups, Up With People. And I don't think you knew this when I had told you this before, but back in 1978, when I was a sophomore at the U of A, so now you guys can date me, you know what that is. I actually auditioned for and was accepted into Up With People as far as the cast. So that was the very good news. I got that letter. I got that acceptance letter. That was fabulous. And the rest of the story, as Paul Harvey would say, that same day I also was informed by, at the time it was Dr. Richard Toll, who was the team physician for the University of Arizona Gymnastics, that I wasn't going anywhere. In fact, I was going to have a second knee surgery. So never got to tour with the cast. But my roommates and I were the hostess. We had a lot of fun. We actually, I don't know if they allow this now, but we actually hosted somebody for the time frame that they were training in Tucson. So it was a fabulous thing. And those of you that don't know what Up With People it is, there's huge Tucson roots. Just Google it. You'll find out some amazing information. So did you tour with the cast?
That makes me say you and I have even more connections. And that's what it's all about. So I left New York in 1982, actually, to come to Tucson and train with Up With People. And I stayed with a host family in town for 6 weeks. And I went to the U of A every day. And we learned how to be on stage and to sing the songs. And it was just all about building community and connections and an amazing experience. And yes, I traveled throughout the Mexico for 4 months, and then I went on to the southern states, and I was with people from all over the country and all over the world. And 40 years later, almost 40 years later, I still have those connections. So just prominent people in Tucson also. And I do have permission to say this person's name. I'm so fortunate that 40 years ago I did get to meet Mr. Blanton Belk, the founder of Up With People, and everybody knows he has a severe, profound hearing loss, and he did give me permission to tell everybody he now has a caption call phone.
Oh.
And it's really great. And I went over there the other day with the mask on my face, and I sat there. He's 97.5, and he tells you that he is 97.5. And his wife is 90, and just wonderful daughters. And I met with all of them and helped Mr. Belk on the caption call phone. And he's going to be able to connect with so many more people now. And Up with People was an incredible experience, really incredible. There's 23,000 alumni throughout the country and the world.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
so
that is just, Up with People, just amazing. I mean, it's truly a cool organization. But
you are connected.
So then you went from, you went from Tucson and then you moved to Los Angeles? Is that what happened?
Exactly. I went back to New York for only a few days, and then next thing I knew, I was in Los Angeles, and that was a great experience as well. I lived in Los Angeles for 23 years, and I was in the entertainment industry behind the scenes. I was the youngest game show contestant coordinator, which was so great. It was great. So we all remember the game show Scrabble and with Chuck Woolery, and that was connecting people, and it was really fun. It was a hoot. And then I went on. I was a publicist. I worked with 20th Century Fox. I worked in a retail shopping center, and then I decided to open up a health food store.
Oh, okay. Well, what prompted you to become an entrepreneur and open up a health food store?
You know what? I was done with corporate. I was done with the corporate world, and I just thought I love being healthy. I'd like to say wealthy and wise.
Okay, there you go.
And there you go. And I just continued. I had worked in a friend's health food store for a while, and I said to my husband one day, let's open a health food store. So we partnered with this gentleman, and we opened up this health food store, and we had it for about 8 years. And then it was great. You know, the whole healthy lifestyle we maintain, and I can get into more of that. And so it was great knowing that our clients came in and were able to get great information and great prices, because that was really important too. So really awesome product with great product prices and knowledge and knowledge. And I think that's really important too.
Well, and I think that's really huge. One of the things, and I think this is even highlighted even more with the COVID crisis that's going on, but in many ways, we really, and I've had several guests that have talked about this, but we need to take responsibility for our health. And what does that look like? It looks like all kinds of different things to different people, but by and large, there's a couple of core things that people know, as far as, are you well hydrated? Are you eating healthy foods? Are you moving around and doing things? And I just think that it's very, very important that we take control of our health, because we have the resources are out there. It's different now. It's not like you can't find out the information and do some research from the internet or speaking to multiple people. And and I feel very strongly that the best way of saying it is that the normal, traditional Western medicine only, just giving you pills and going from there as far as the situation, instead of underlying what is health versus just what is, what can we do to prevent disease versus.
I agree.
Yeah.
I have to say, from my background growing up, being involved in athletics and eating healthy and being with the health food store, this, boosting my immune system, making sure that we have the knowledge to do whatever we can in our power and be our own advocates with that. I regularly, that's the caption call phone in the background ringing.
Cool.
You hear that? That's loud.
That's really cool.
So I have to say that we do need to be our own advocate, and then as far as boosting our immune system, I'm also I'm a colon cancer survivor, and
Yeah.
and that, right. So in 2009, heredity caught up with me, and no symptoms whatsoever. However, I know my body, and I was so fortunate to be able to go in, have it removed, and I did about 12 rounds of chemo, and I sailed through it, and boosting my immune system, really, really important. Continue to boost my immune system, and I am a walking testimonial. And I think, during this time, we do need to protect ourselves and be able to educate and stay positive. Mind, body, and soul, really important.
Absolutely. And the thing is, when you're doing things such as eating healthy and you're doing these things, it doesn't mean that you're not going to get a disease, okay? But it does mean that maybe you're going to respond to it better. And like you just got through saying that you sailed through chemotherapy. Not many people use the word sail through and then chemotherapy in the same
Right.
sentence. It doesn't happen. But as far as with that information, but there were some residuals. So let's see. So you moved to Tucson in 2006 with your husband Scott. That's another thing we have in common. Both of our husbands are named Scott. So as far as in Oro Valley. So tell me, what prompted your move to Tucson?
We were ready to move out of California. It was time, and we wanted to stay somewhere close to relatives who are still in California. And we knew, I knew, living here only for 6 weeks way back in 1982, that Tucson was an amazing place. So we looked around Arizona, and we really decided that Tucson was the place to be, and the northwest part of Tucson is where we wanted. And so we moved to Oro Valley, and our two boys went through school there, Copper Creek, Bases, Ironwood, U of A. And so we love it. We love the Catalina State Park. We love Sabino Canyon. We love the hiking and the outdoors, and that is it. It was a huge factor that we wanted to be in this community, and it's intimate. Tucson is intimate, and there's so much here. And sometimes I can sound like I can help visit Tucson, and Pamela Traficante, who I traveled with and up with, who traveled and up with people too. I really, really love living in Tucson, and there's so much to offer for us and for so many people.
Oh, and I completely echo that. In fact, so I'm a Phoenix native, and I've lived in Arizona all of my life except for my junior and senior year of high school, and I lived just outside of Houston. And it was really interesting because the mountains, that's one of the things that I feel like anchors me. I loved Houston. Don't get me wrong, I love Houston. I'm still in touch. I've got the most amazing still high school friends from all those years ago. But being in Houston, a couple of funny things that happened. First of all, driving across the bridge, I go drive across the bridge, and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's water in there. And my friends from Texas are like, well, why would you have a bridge if there wasn't any water? And it's like, well, you don't understand. We have the washes, we have the flash floods. But then the mountains, our mountains here, it really it anchors us. And so I came after graduating from high school. I went to ASU my freshman year, hated it, transferred down to the I can't really say hated it, but transferred down to the U of A. Blue and red are better colors. Let's start there. But transferred to the U of A, and then I met my husband, and then we actually moved back to Phoenix for 14 years. And then given the opportunity back in 1994, we were given the opportunity to move back. My husband had like 4 job offers on the table. One was New Jersey, and I don't want to say anything against New Jersey, but I'm not moving in New Jersey where there's snow. That's not happening. Number 2 was in San Francisco for Daimler-Benz at the time was one of his offers. And I'm like, I'm not living where there's earthquakes. The number 3 situation was actually just outside of Dallas, and we actually did a house hunting trip in Dallas. That was a very distinct possibility. And then number 4 came up, and it was this incredible opportunity to move back to Tucson. And it just felt so right. My husband had grown up here. His family had been in Tucson since he was 2. He grew up on the east side of town when, Houghton Road was just dirt. It was just dirt. There was nothing out there, and they were east of Houghton. We have, both my husband and I, with our jobs, we could live anywhere. We could live and do anything anywhere. We don't have to be in a specific geographic location. We will always be in Tucson. Tucson is our home. We might get a second home someplace, somewhere, but Tucson will always be our home. So
it is magical. It is the mountains. Yeah, I completely agree. And the mountain view is so important for me. It really centers me. I know people always say they love the ocean, and I lived right off the ocean in Santa Monica for years. And I don't know what that feeling, I can't articulate it. However, when I go and I look at the desert landscape and I see the mountains, and it's Zen. I mean, people know me as a type A hyper person, and it just calms me. It really calms me. So yeah, it's majestic. It's magical.
Yes, it truly is. And one of the things that's happening behind the scenes in terms of the real estate world right now, with the shutdown nationwide, what we are finding is that there's a lot of people and corporations have found out that their employees can work from home and be very, very effective. And so, yes, after things are, lifted and we're through this at some point in time, there will be many people that will go back to their offices, wherever that may be, but there's going to be a very large percentage that they may not go back into the traditional office / physical brick and mortar location that they had before. Right. It's been quite the seismic, if you will, change. And so
it's funny. Yeah. It's funny that you say that, because I have worked out of my home for 9 years since starting my job with Caption Call. And we literally, I believe I told you, we literally sold our home in one day. With everything that's been going on here. And we sold our home in one day. And so now, to get everything back up and running and have my office up and running in our temporary home, it's getting back into the acclimation of working out of the house. And I love working out of my home. And I do miss the people contact and working with the Zoom or the Teams or the virtual meetings has been great, because a big part of what I do is meeting people one-on-one. So I've been doing lots of emailing and lots of phone calling. And I mean, on the weekends, I tell people I'm all talked out, and they just can't believe that. They just cannot believe that Judy is all talked out. Yeah, no. So I know with Caption Call, and again, I wanted to really share with everybody what that is. And with Caption Call, during this time of pandemic, Caption Call has hired over 1,000 people.
Wow.
And many people are working remotely, which is wonderful. We've really wanted to keep our employees safe. We wanted to keep, the people we come in contact with safe. And so it's been great. I love working at home. I think it's great.
Well, I think it's awesome too. And we are really seeing within the Arizona, specifically the Tucson market, very, very strong. The real estate market is so strong right now. If people are thinking, even remotely thinking about selling their property and getting a different home, now would be the time to do so, because there's a shortage of inventory. So, well, let's jump into some of the fun things as far as with Caption Call. People are so you've done a lot of different things, but one of the things you have been helping with, I love the name Aloha. They've been actually very, very helpful with several people that I know, but that's the Adult Loss of Hearing Association that's located right here in Tucson. And so you're both an educator and things like that. So let's explain to our listeners, what in the world is Caption Call?
Okay, so Caption Call has been around since 2011, and it's a telephone and service where the words of the caller is captioned on the screen. It's just a regular telephone that we put in your home. And like I said, the words of the caller come up on the screen. And while you're on the phone, you can hear the words of your caller through either the speaker or through the handset. There's amplification and clarification, which is priceless. It's priceless. So a lot of people who have a hearing loss feel that people just want to scream. They want to, people think that you need to talk louder, when that's not really the truth. They do need the amplification. However, they need the clarification as well. So the Caption Call phone helps with the amplification as well as the clarification. And basically it's very, how it works is it's very similar to closed caption television.
Okay.
Right? So the words of your caller appear on the screen, and like I said, it works like a regular phone. So it could be as easy as you want it to be, and it could be there's more features that are involved with it as well. So it could be even more helpful to you. For instance, some of the features. There is the scrolling. So when the words come in on that screen, you can see the words being captioned, and you can scroll and follow the words. You can also save the conversation. So I don't know about you, Karen, but when I hang up from a phone conversation, sometimes I'm like, what did that person say? I can go back and I can touch the save call feature, and I can reread what the words were from my caller. So if there was an appointment that was scheduled, I can go back and make sure that I wrote on my calendar, I have an appointment with Karen Fisher of Summit Funding on Wednesday, the 13th, and at 3:30. Oh, there it is. So, that's really helpful for the saved call feature. There's also a built-in answering machine that's really helpful, because many people cannot understand tones or accents, and so the answering machine can pick up all of that as well. So that's really helpful. And there's a phone log on there as well, very similar to your cell phone. It has a recent call log, and you can simply just touch on the recent call log, and the phone will automatically dial that number. So there's some really great features.
Well, and you'd also shared with me that there are some of the things that you can do is it's not just the system at the house. You've also, tell me a little bit about the what works with like an iPad and an iPhone. Right. And is it only Apple products, or does it work with the Android?
We are actually just now beta testing the Caption Call application for an Android as well.
Okay.
So up until now, we have had the iPad application that you can download, and then we also have the iPhone app that you can download, and now we're in beta testing mode of the Android. So it's great. You can take this wherever you go and be able to, again, receive the phone call on your telephone line. So whether you're on your home phone, It will ring on your home phone line. It's not a separate phone line on your home phone line. And then if you have a cell phone, it will ring on your cell phone number, and the words of your caller will appear on the screen, and it will save it. And, you know, just the same features that you have on your caption call phone, you'll have on your iPhone or your Android or your iPad. So yes, we're doing that. Yeah.
So that is that is huge. So let's talk about just some things. So what drove you to getting connected with Caption Call? Tell me what the motivation, because you've got your resume, your bio reads like a who's who. You could have done anything. So tell me, you're very passionate about Caption Call, and I want you to share with our listeners why.
I am definitely passionate. I'm a passionate person. I'm a connector. And you're right. I could have gone into so many different areas, and I looked into it. My husband's been in the hearing healthcare industry for years, and when we moved to Tucson, I literally was hired over the phone by Soundpoint Audiology just to be a part-time patient service coordinator, and I was really working with patients, you know, people with the hearing loss, and somebody came into my office from Caption Call and told me about Caption Call and that this is a no-cost telephone and service that's helping people throughout the nation connect to their loved ones. And I looked at her and I said, okay, sign me up. I want to be your account manager here in the greater Tucson area. I want to be your community liaison. I want to be your voice. And I jumped ship. I said goodbye hearing aid office, and I have been working with Caption Call since 2012. And so many people have a hearing loss and they don't necessarily go into a hearing healthcare office. I'm an advocate. As you know, I'm involved with Aloha as well. I think it is so important that everybody, just like we get our eyes checked, our body checked, it's really important to get your hearing checked as well every year. And not everybody does that. And so I want to be able to be there to help people. I did lose hearing with the chemo. And so I realized that hearing on the telephone, it's crucial and it's paramount. And if you're isolated like many people are now, hearing on the telephone is really important, and being able to see the words of the caller is important. So being with Caption Call, I know that so many people in the community are able to connect, and that's what I'm able to do with Caption Call. So it's fantastic.
It's huge. Well, one of the things, and I'm just looking at some statistics here, but one of the things that we've got, and this comes out of BMC Public Health, biomedcentral.com, and self-reported. This is not being tested, but self-reported in Arizona. They're saying that the weighted prevalence of deafness or serious difficulty hearing for adults was 7.5%. So think about that. We've got Pima County, which has just a population of just over 1 million people, and 7.5% of that's 75,000 self-reported. Now, the Arizona Community for Deaf and Hard of Hearing, those statistics are a little bit even. That's even just as far as information, as far as those resources. So one of the things that you shared with us is that Caption Call is free. So people go, nothing's free. So explain to that how it truly is free to our end users and why.
And that's so important, because skeptical big time, and everybody said, yeah, what's the catch? I promise you there is no catch. So we all have a telephone bill, whether it is our landline bill or our mobile cell phone bill. We all have a bill, and on that bill, we have the universal sales tax. And that universal sales tax goes into a fund, and it is the FCC fund. So Caption Call is reimbursed by the FCC fund for the minutes that are captioned. So it's not like people say, well, I'm, I don't want to be entitled, or I don't want to take from the government. You've been paying for this all along. So you do not, because of the American Disabilities Act, you do not have to pay for your caption call telephone or service. We have ongoing support, and we are always there to help you. And I promise you, if anybody ever said, this is caption call and we're calling to collect money, no, and they'll answer to me, because no, we do not charge for our services, and we're there. My family can attest, my friends can attest, I'm there publicizing caption call and making sure that you are a happy caption call customer from start to finish. And that's why, so for them, we also just, caption call at one time was told that we had to collect $75 to be specific. And we went to court. We took the other people to court, and we said, no, we're not charging. We're not charging people. And we won, and we reimbursed anybody who we had to, who did pay during that time period. And
who was trying to say that you guys that they had to pay 75?
It was another company that
okay.
Yeah, it was another company, and we were, I'm not the legal team. I am not my legal team. And we have an amazing legal team. And I know that our attorneys went to battle in, it must have been 2013 or 2013, maybe it was. And I have a certificate of advocacy, and I have all the information on why we took that, we took to court, and we won, and we don't want anybody to have to pay for this because, again, of the American Disabilities Act. We need to have these services. People with vision impairment, they have services and resources, and so we are an amazing resource. And the FCC chairman just gave caption call a big shout out during this whole pandemic, because we have really rallied and like I said, hired more people, help people keep safe. And as you can tell, I'm really passionate about this company. And
well, you definitely are. So
the people we work with are amazing.
Yeah, it is fantastic. So we're up at the top of the hour. I just want to let our listeners know that you are listening to Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise. We are broadcasting remotely right now. We're usually in the studio, but due to the pandemic, we are broadcasting remotely. And this is for Tucson Business RadioX. And my special guest today is Judy Katz Esbit. And we are talking about as far as caption call and what we can do to help as far as people who are deaf, if you will. So in terms of some of the other things, through the Arizona Governor's Office, we do absolutely have some additional resources, just in terms of the information. But in terms, one of the things that I find is people that have hearing loss, no matter what level it is, but particularly when you get into the profound hearing loss, to me, one of the things that I have witnessed is it creates a lot of isolation. There's also some other issues that it has. It can be very, very dangerous because medically they might not understand. They think they understand, but they might not really understand what their doctor is telling them in terms of medical advice. With the volunteer work, the different things that you've done through Aloha, and for the many, many clients that you've served in the past 9 years, tell me what some of the issues, when somebody has hearing loss, besides the danger of some of the medical things and things like that, what else happens what are some of the other side effects of hearing loss is what I'd like to know, because I see that it can be very lonesome, feel very lonely.
So right. Speaking personally, even doing an interview as such, I need to see your face. I need to see your words coming out of your mouth. If you have your hand in front of your lips, in front of your mouth, especially in this day and age when we're wearing masks, it's really difficult for somebody with hearing loss to understand what you're saying if your hand is in front of your mouth, or right now, if you're wearing a mask that doesn't have a clear panel like mine does. My mask, when I do go out, if I do go out, I am wearing a mask that has a plastic part around my mouth over my lips, because most of the people I'm talking with have a hearing loss. And it's very frustrating that their mouths are covered. So that you get frustrated. It adds to depression. It's obviously isolating, and you also feel like you're just not answering the question correctly because you didn't hear it, and it kind of makes you sound a little off. So there's so many areas that come into play with someone who has a hearing loss, and people don't want to admit it. They don't want to admit that they have a hearing loss, and there is help out there. There is definitely help out there. So I like I said, I love telling stories, and I know that there's a 95-year-old gentleman now who really, he's not being able to communicate with his son and his daughter, and he might think that that's okay. However, the son and daughter really want to communicate with him.
Yeah.
And that's important. That's really important. So if we're home during these times, it's really important to be able to have a caption call phone at home where we can hear the words of the caller, because there's amplification. We can see the words captioned on the screen, and we can ward off the frustrations, the lack of the isolation, and it's so much fun. It's fun being able to see the words on the screen and go back to reading what the person had said, and it just keeps us more sane.
I just think that's awesome. So when you're actually, as far as with the caption call phone, so if you've got the equipment at the house, would you be able to also, so let's say you're somebody that's out and about in business and doing lots of things. If you have the caption call at home, are you limited to just that, or can you get, like if you have the iPad and the iPhone as well, because those of us that are not hearing impaired, you're able to, you communicate with a variety of devices this day and age. What does Caption Call do? Are you limited to one device, or are you able to get more than one?
So we now are putting two Caption Call phones in your home. We can have two Caption Call phones in a home, and the iPhone app, you can have that downloaded on your iPhone. You can have the app downloaded on your iPad. And now with the Android, the Android is in beta testing. So those people who have an Android will soon be able to have Caption Call downloaded on their Android app as well. And all of this is no cost. All of this is, the service is provided. And again, we have people nationwide who can help get Caption Call to you on a landline phone. We can give you, so if you do not have a landline phone, we will give you a landline phone. We will give you the Caption Call phone. If you don't have internet, that's a big situation. Before, when we started with Caption Call, you had to have the internet connection. We would come into your home and connect it with the Ethernet cable, or we would connect it with the Wi-Fi. And many people don't have the internet. They don't want it. And we now have a device where we can come into your home and give you the internet connection just for the captioning.
Oh, that's
Caption
huge.
call phone. So that is huge. We just literally came out with that, and that has been absolutely fantastic as well. So we do have devices. We do have we do have areas where we can help people. And Karen, you mentioned my involvement with Aloha and the Adult Loss of Hearing Association. There's nothing like that anywhere else in the country.
Really? I didn't know that. Yeah.
And I just realized that too. So Adult Loss of Hearing Association has been around for many years. We're very involved with rights. Their statistics. I just became a board member, and we are really involved with the Walk for Hearing. And that's going to take place. It is going to be a virtual event this year. It's in November. Caption Call is a major sponsor of the Walk for Hearing. We have a call center here in Tucson. We have a call center in Scottsdale, and Caption Call is really involved with the Walk for Hearing. And I know my team last year, monies raised, we donated to back to Aloha. So as a volunteer with Aloha, we have a Tuesday support group, and we meet now on Zoom, and that's been great. So it's just anybody can find, and I can share that information with you also. It's Adult Loss of Hearing Association, where they're based on Fort Lowell in Tucson. There's a website, there's a phone number, and Aloha works with most of, all of the hearing healthcare centers in town. The University of Arizona is big with their speech and language and hearing department. So we're really, we're there for people. We're there for people. So that's one, one aspect with volunteering and with Aloha. And Caption Call also is really involved with veterans and veterans across.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah.
The veterans, right. So we, Caption Call sponsors the Honor Flight. And
that's an amazing organization. Yes.
Amazing. And military makeovers. So Caption Call is a proud sponsor a brand sponsor of military makeovers, honorary flight. We work with all veterans. I go to stand downs. I work with the American Legion. I can't say I work with the American Legion. However, I do presentations for with American Legions. With I go to the veteran service officers and communicate with them. And for any veterans out there who are listening, please know that we're there to help. We just want to give back to those who serve. We want to serve those who served.
Yeah, I just I think it is just huge. And then having people, because I find also when having experiences with our own family members with that hearing loss, what happens is that they'll tend to self-isolate. And this, having the ability with Caption Call to clearly communicate, it actually engages those people that are just so important for our community altogether. So I have to tell you,
I do have to tell you, when I was a trainer, I started with Caption Call as a trainer. And I don't remember all of my stories because there are too many. And there was one where, and I believe he was a veteran, and I went into his home and I gave him I installed the Caption Call phone, and we do incredible training as well. We're in the home for about an hour. Sometimes I talk a little more. It's maybe longer than that. This gentleman made a phone call to his granddaughter. And Karen, if I could tell you, he started crying. She was crying on the other end, and yours truly started crying. I was crying. So, stories like that where you're bringing families together, there's nothing better than that.
I find that is really, really huge. So, so how does somebody, okay, you've got a family member that could benefit from Caption Call. What would be their next step?
So their next step would be to call me. And anywhere in the nation, they can absolutely positively call me, email me. I will help them connect with Caption Call. They can go to their hearing healthcare provider. They can go to their medical professional. They can simply go on the website. They can also go to Facebook. We're on all sorts of, we're all sorts of social media. So if you want a Caption Call phone, you will be connected to Caption Call. You will have to answer a couple of questions to make sure that you indeed have a hearing loss that necessitates the use of captioning. And you will immediately be put into our system. And then you will have a phone call from the Caption Call trainer. We have trainers throughout the nation. Luis is our trainer here in the greater Tucson area. Luis will either come to your home, or if you don't want somebody to come into your home, especially now during this pandemic, we can help you or your family member connect the Caption Call phone without, we call it a remote installation. We can do it that way. So we really want to be able to help everybody and anybody who wants to be able to connect and have a more effective telephone conversation.
Well, and I think that it's huge because I've got, sometimes, so here I am as a mortgage loan officer, and I provide money for both purchase and refinance transactions. But some of the things that have happened is I've had a lot of clients. I actually had a friend of mine who was years ago a client that was the program. She worked for the community outreach program for the deaf. And so I worked with several clients that were either totally deaf. And so they were doing working with a translator with sign calls and things like that. But even just as far as the hard of hearing, sometimes they can't. And I've got a voice that usually carries. Most people can understand me, but not always. And when you're dealing with legal documents, I think it's very, very important for you to understand exactly what it is. So the flip side of it is, let's say you're a business. What happens if you happen to be a business that works with, I don't know if Caption Call does that, like if your business provides services to people that are hard of hearing, does Caption Call help them, or they're always just providing it to the residents?
So we definitely are a resource. I work with a lot of people who are in businesses like yourself, where you have clients who have a hearing loss. So Caption Call works with the providers, and Caption Call also works with the consumer. So we reach out to everybody to make sure that anybody who has a hearing loss knows about this valuable resource. So Caption Call is like Visiting Angels has on their resource Caption Call. Pima Council of the Aging has on their resource page Caption Call. So we are definitely a resource. And if you are an employee and you have a hearing loss, we can have a Caption Call phone at your desk that you can use. We can work with, I work with so many people who have, like I said, clients who want the Caption Call phone. So I'm constantly making the connection that way. And
that's huge. It really, really helps as far as that. So, so now, go ahead and just say your number twice, and then the rest of your details will be on there. And I just want to give a big shout out and a special thank you to our mutual friend, Cindy Scheller, who actually introduced you to me. She owns Caring Senior Services, which is a non-medical home healthcare agency. And so, Cindy said, you two just need to connect. So, but now for the fun part. So go ahead and repeat your number twice, and then our wonderful producer, Mark, will put all the other details up on the website.
Thank you. So again, my name is Judy, and I'm with Caption Call, and my phone number is 520 520-247-6892. Again, that's 520-247-6892. And you can call me, text me, email, and I am here to help.
Oh, well, I really appreciate it. And once again, as your hostess, I am Karen Fisher. My superhero day job is I am a senior loan officer with Summit Funding. I provide money both for refinance and purchase transactions, and I can be reached at the direct line at the office. We are working full on and remotely, but the direct line at the office is 520-447-2279. Again, that's 520-447-2279. So as we wrap up, I just have a couple of quick, fun questions. Judy, what would you say, what inspires you? Just something fun. What inspires you?
Living day and day, just the mountains, the mountain view, and the people I connect with, the people I meet walking down the street. That just inspires me, making the connection.
I think that's huge. And then we are wrapping up right now. We are actually finished with our show. And I just want to say thank you for being our guest. Thank you for helping our own family. That's already huge with my father-in-law. And I look forward to being able to actually see you in person, not just video, once the issues are lifted. So thank you very much. Everybody, our Tucson listeners, have an amazing rest of your week and the rest of the month.
Thank you.